As an instructor in the Family Science Department, I try to base my classroom lectures off Dee Fink's idea that learning will happen best when there's lasting change to the learner. So in my class, I try to develop lasting change through the ability to apply classroom material to the students' everyday real-life experiences. Luckily, teaching in the field of family sciences and social sciences, the concepts are easy to relate to. It just might take a little coaxing. I'll give you an example. In my classes, I always try to incorporate a meme, a pop culture reference, or I leave time for student stories that they get to think of prior to class as a reading assignment to help them relate to the material. Out of all these things that I do, it's almost always the pop culture reference that gets the students talking the most, and it's the thing that they say helps them retain the material best. I've got to be honest, I've had some of the most amazing conversations about what could be the dullest topic to an 18-year-old mind. Here's an example of a dull topic. Early in the semester, I cover fundamental developmental theories, such as behavioral theories like classical conditioning. I talk about Pavlov, who we're probably pretty familiar with. The bell rings and the food comes and the dog eats, and the bell rings and the food comes and the dog eats. And eventually, the bell rings and the dog's just salivating at the thought of eating. It's not too difficult for students at this point to understand that a stimulus leads to a response or a behavior. But they have a really hard time not giving me cute stories about their pets and telling me about themselves. So, to make it more relatable, I show this clip from The Office.
Reboot again. Anyway, do you want help? What do you think? What? Want help? Okay. Help him. Entweder. Entweder. What are you doing? What? My mouth tastes so bad all of a sudden.
Right? It's pretty humorous and probably so out there that Jim trained Dwight to salivate at the sound of his computer crashing. But the things that my students came up with this prompt were amazing. One student was giving up soda and she heard a click of a can once. Wasn't even a Coke can. Her mouth started salivating at the thought of a nice refreshing cola. Another one we're familiar with, a student used to hear his full name said very firmly and he knew he was in trouble as a child. And now as an adult, hearing his name like that, it's an instantaneous feeling of fear. Similar vein, a student shared, doesn't matter how well my relationship's going, if they say, hey, we need to talk, he thinks he's getting dumped. All of these are real-life, relatable, and understandable examples of classical conditioning that my students thought of with this prompt. More impressive, there's a 100% pass rate on the essay question in regards to classical conditioning. I've probably ruined The Office and Disney for my students. They'll never be able to get on social media and look at memes or watch TV and movies the same way, and that's my point. I want students to realize that applying class material goes beyond their 3 exams and their 1 major paper. It's about seeing where they fit in the world around them. It's about seeing how these concepts are working. Because I believe that seeing theory in context is what's going to bring true change to the learner. Thank you.